Should we crack onwards with V for Vendetta then? Which, well, my brain has always incorrectly filed it as a 2005 Wachowski joint, but although they did adapt this work from the legendarily curmudgeonly comic book author Alan Moore's work, it's James McTeague in the director's chair, and looking back, the general quality of McTeague's post this outings raises some alarm bells, but my memory of what happened 15 days ago was pretty shaky, let alone 15 years, so how does this hold up? So the film, over the course of a year, recounts the campaign of anarchist and Guy Fawkes mask enthusiast V, played by Hugo Weaving, against the fascist Northfire government of Britain in the futuristic hellscape of 2032, a time and general state of affairs we're now more than halfway towards. He starts by blowing up the Old Bailey and broadcasting a message to Britain to join him in destroying the Houses of Parliament at this time next year. Caught up in this madness is Natalie Portman's Evie Hammond, a mild-mannered employee of the Straight broadcaster that V saves from the secret police's attempted rape, in case you were to any doubt as to the nastiness of the state apparatus, who then finds herself on the run after being viewed as an accessory to V's crimes. After a period of hiding out with a lovely, forcibly closeted on pain of death TV host, Stephen Fry's Gordon Dietrich, she's again taken by V after Gordon's ill-advised piss take of John Hurt's High Chancellor Adam Sutler and his extensive security apparatus's inability to catch V, which leads to him being carted away. So, here we are, an hour in, and I was starting to wonder why I vaguely remember having issues with this film. After all, the central storyline is fine, the performances are on point from a cast that I mostly like, the character backstory is intriguing and tied into the equally intriguing world building through Stephen Ree's character's investigation, ultimately uncovering the even nastier secrets behind the rise of the Northfire Party. It's stylishly shot and the action's competently handled, as you'd perhaps expect from someone who's been working with the Wachowskis for so long. And then you get to the reminder that sometimes 80s comics were a little bit too grimdark for their own good, as our admittedly obviously insane, but nonetheless so far ultimately morally righteous hero tortures the other one over weeks or months for the flimsiest of reasons and seemingly mainly to avoid writing in a conversation as an exposition dump. And this is quickly forgiven for this by Evie as we plough into the end of things. So yes, I now remember my problem with this film. It is stupid. If I'm making an effort to understand this, I suppose it could be argued that in true action film style, V's already killed a bunch of people, so perhaps we shouldn't be expecting much moral guidance from him. But even so, there's a pretty basic distinction between killing enemies and torturing allies that's difficult to get over, and Evie's acceptance of this is baffling. Is it enough to spoil the rest of the film, which I'm by and large on board with? Maybe? It's certainly enough to reduce this to an at best guarded recommendation, and for me to not think of it again for the further 15 years. Ultimately, its main cultural legacy seems to be the popularisation of Guy Fawkes masks amongst anti-fascists, and, well, perhaps that point of trivia is all that it ultimately deserves to be remembered for.
Yeah, I feel quite similar to you, Scott. I'm watching this again thinking, I'm quite enjoying this. Why did I really not like this before? Right, and it's going along, okay, I'm thinking there's some interesting stuff here. And then suddenly it's like, wait a minute, why is she just forgiving him?
Yeah.
She said thank you. He tortured her for months and said, nope, I'm out. And then also finished like, it's up to you whether you blow up the Houses of Parliament or not. Let's set aside kind of the Clark's Death Star conversation about all of the non-evil people working in that, even though it's clearly filled with the amusingly Tory party-based evil party. Let's set aside the regular people that might be inside the Houses of Parliament, right? But there are like 1 million people surrounding in the streets before, and I'm sure that big explosion will send everything straight up, straight back down, and nobody could possibly get hurt. I don't know, it's got interesting ideas, but then, as you say, it gets stupid.
Yeah. It's annoying because, for me, it's really that one thing, right? Everything else I really quite like, or the best I'm not that bothered by. But there's just one element of it that is so overarchingly silly that it just annoys me and makes it hard to even think about the rest of it in any positive light.
Yeah, it's it makes no sense. Like, he tortures this poor woman, and torture, pretty horrendous stuff, right? For the purpose of needing to know whether he can trust her. What? No, this is dumb. Makes no sense. And the fact that we're going way beyond Stockholm syndrome here, because she never. Also, it wouldn't make sense because she never sees them. But it's like, wait a minute. You tortured me, took me to the edge of health and sanity. Thank you. No. Nope. The appropriate thing to do is just stab him then and there.
Yeah.
I don't know, the film would end an hour early, but it would be appropriate for the character. In terms of the actual film itself rather than the content, I think people are quite good at it. The only thing is Natalie Portman's accent. That's a bit.
It's a bit Natalie Portman, isn't it?
Yeah, Natalie Portman's so well regarded, and I honestly don't see it. I don't think she's that great. She's not awful, but and that accent, it's sort of weirdly kind of cut glass in a way that most people don't speak. And then suddenly it'll just drop in every now and then there's an Essex syllable, and it's so awful. Not really the point, I guess, of particularly for discussion tonight, but it's just, I couldn't stop thinking about her accent through it.
Yeah,
it's like another film. I think I'll watch Starship Troopers many times again. I think V for Vendetta. I mean, I suppose I've recently enjoyed it, but it's just that last portion is so stupid that it undercuts anything else that happens.
Yeah,
and
I think if
nobody has any moral high ground.
Yeah, if I remembered precisely how silly that was, I might have picked something else to cover in this one. But yeah, it's a shame that a lot of good work is undone by one plot element that is just so daft that it makes the rest of it very difficult to get on board with.
Yeah,
I've not read V for Vendetta in the comic books. I know it's been quite heavily adapted in places, but I'm not sure if that bit is part of the additions or not. I think it actually isn't from memory. In which case, I'm puzzled that the original work is so well regarded.
And all I was aware of was that Alan Moore wasn't very happy with the adaptation.
Anything.
My impression is Alan Moore is not particularly happy with pretty much anything in existence. Yeah, so I was like taking that as being particularly meaningful.
Yeah.
Well, Alan Moore's always incredibly happy to license his work out, and then incredibly happy with what people do with it. So, don't know. Maybe money talks louder than Alan Moore does when he grumbles.
He and also a lot of other people actually seem to really not like the Zack Snyder Watchmen, and I really like that. And I've read the comic book. I was like, they're nearly the same. What's your problem?
Yes.
I never understood the criticism for that film, given it's nearly identical to the comic, apart from the ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just can't please some people, apparently. Although I guess in summation, though, that gives us that if you want to watch a film about science fiction fascism, you should probably begin and end with Starship Troopers.
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah, I'll probably do it.